Hello, everyone, and welcome to this MSC information session. I am excited to talk to everybody today. This is going to be a little bit interactive, so get ready. It's a communication program, so you're going to communicate with us a couple of times throughout here. But yeah, the plan for today is to talk to you more about the MSC program. We're going to talk about the format, curriculum, extra co-curricular activities, career services, the admissions process, what it means to be an alumni. We've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so I want to jump right in. Before that, some very quick introductions. So a couple members of the team are here to talk with you today. My name is Toby Cordeyu. I am the Director of Enrollment Management and Strategic Initiatives for the program, which means it's my job to put the class together, right? We bring in about 70 students to the custom program each year, about 25 students to the hybrid program, and I manage the marketing and admissions work. I've been doing this kind of work for about 20 years, spending time at Loyola University here in Chicago and at the University of Chicago. And the past 5 years here at Northwestern with MSC, and I'm also an alum of the program. I graduated from MSC back in 2012. So that's me. And also with us today are Kaylee Mullins and Pat Messina. Kaylee, do you want to say hi?
Sure. Hi. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining today. My name is Kaylee Mullins. I'm the Admission and Marketing Coordinator for the program. I work closely with Toby to run all the admission process and marketing efforts. I'm also an alum of the program. I graduated just recently in 2019. And so prior to that, I was working here at Northwestern in undergraduate admissions. But after going through the program, I guess they didn't want to get rid of me just yet. So I've stayed on and kind of have been working as, like I said, with admission and marketing with Toby since then.
Right. Yeah, that's how it works. If you graduate and don't have the job you want, then we hire you, is how MSC works so far. Great, wonderful. Thanks, Kaylee. Pat, hi.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Pat Messina, and I'm actually part of the EPICS team, which is all about career services, and I support the MSC program and any of your job search activities. I help with writing bios and value propositions. We practice interviewing and also telling things verbally to each other. My services are available all through the program and even after the program as well. Myself, I've had many incarnations and many jobs. I ran a small recruiting firm with a friend of mine for a number of years and placed people in all sorts of industries and disciplines. And I love staying connected. I'm still in HR groups, and I reach out to all different kinds of communities so that we can kind of help you facilitate looking for that dream job that you might want to get after the program.
And then 5 years ago, when I started the program, working here, Pat worked in Northwestern Human Resources, and in a moment of great weakness, hired me. So I'm grateful to Pat for letting me join the team here and be part of it for the past 5 years. But I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you. So this was, where is it? There we go. So that was our introductions. I want to learn a little bit more about you as a group and why you're here. So think about for a minute, and this will be kind of your frame as we move through the material today. Think for a minute about why you're interested in going back to school. What are your motivations? What are the reasons that you're considering spending all of this time and money over a year to join a program like ours? I would love, if you're willing, for you to share any ideas in the chat of what it is that's motivating you to think about going back to grad school, just to be sure that we're talking about everything and covering everything that's going to be necessary. Eve says career advancement. Absolutely. That's the reason Pat's job exists. So we're absolutely going to talk about career advancement. Anybody else? What's motivating you? Russell says to learn some specific skills for a career pivot. I want to talk more about that later. So Russell, make sure that we're addressing the specific skills that you're interested in as we move throughout here. Gretchen talks about reaching a plateau and looking for inspiration and current knowledge. I like it. Career advancement, new role, ability to use creativity. Jeremy's resonates, opportunity to go deeper on certain topics that doesn't happen at work. I was just reading some research a few days ago about how happiness at work and in our job is connected to learning, and how opportunities for professional development, and if you're learning something new, has a significant impact on your general overall happiness at work. So I appreciate that desire as well. These are terrific. So this is a great start, and everybody's seeing some similar things and some different things, which is great. And it's also a great glimpse into the myriad reasons that people consider coming into this program. For us, more times than not, people's motivations fit into one of these kind of three buckets. And it's what I'm seeing a little bit of in some of your responses here. Career change, meaning somebody's looking to make a little bit more of a transition. Russell talks about a pivot into something different. So that's not uncommon. Advancement, talking again, like Gretchen says, for some inspiration, something to help move off a plateau, to continue accelerating in the career that you're already part of. And then others talk about personal growth, opportunities to explore your own creativity, as Eve says, and just be in a place where you can twist your brain around a little bit and have some exciting, stimulating conversation about some highly subjective but highly important topics that exist in the world of communication. So the reasons that you're talking about so far are absolutely consistent with reasons that people come to this program. Why are you here? That's what we understand. Why are we here? Why does the MSc program exist? And the MSc program graduated its first class of students all the way back in 1986. And so we've been around for quite a while. And we exist, here's our mission statement. Let me read this, and this is the worst, and we would never in the program teach you to read from a slide. I'm gonna do it. As one of the oldest and most prestigious professional graduate communication programs in the world, we create a diverse and dynamic learning environment by exploring timeless theoretical concepts and innovative practical applications. Through integrated and authentic experiences, we cultivate learners' abilities to lead and affect change for organizations, communities, and themselves. What does all that mean? Here's some fascinating research from, I think, 2 years ago that came from a Wall Street Journal survey and was also in conjunction with LinkedIn. A survey of 900 executives in the United States, 92% of them said that soft skills were equally important or more important than technical skills. Your ability to communicate, your ability to interact with the other people in your work world was more important than the technical skills that you were maybe hired for. And 90% of these executives also said that those interactive skills, those communication skills were lacking, were missing in the workforce. And I see a bunch of heads nodding, like everybody works with people that don't know how to communicate in some way, shape, or form. And that's why we exist. This is the gap that we're filling in the workplace through a series, and we're going to dive more deeply into the curriculum, but through our core curricular themes, through the coursework, through the co-curricular activities, through interactions and learnings about yourself with the career services group, you are going to be filling this gap that again, 90% of executives say is lacking. And so we're excited to be able to provide that opportunity for you. Let's take a dive into the structure of the program, the logistics. And so some of you filled out questions as you signed up or registered for the webinar today, and asked some questions about just the basic structure. What are the logistics? What's a day in the life look like? So we want to unpack that for you. The MSc program is, I want to set the stage here. So the umbrella is the university, Northwestern University. And there are 12 schools in the university, right? We have the med school and the law school and the business school, engineering. The School of Communication is the school that the MSc program is a part of, and we're part of the Communication Studies department within the School of Communication. The School of Communication just happens to be the oldest school at Northwestern University. So founded in 1851, the first kind of separate or standalone school that was created was the School of Communication, and we've been around ever since. What that means for you is that in June of 2022, if you go walk at the large Northwestern University graduation, you get to sit in the front row. So that is the biggest takeaway from being part of the School of Communication in the larger sense. And then the MSc program, though, we have these two delivery models available to you, the custom leadership program and the hybrid leadership program. So let me unpack those a little bit for you. The custom program, the CLP, is a 12-month program. You start in September and you graduate in August. At Northwestern, we are on a quarter system. So there are 4 academic quarters, fall, winter, spring, and summer. And you will take 2 courses per quarter. Classes are only on Saturdays. So you will take a core class on Saturday morning with all 70 of your classmates. And then in the afternoon, you'll take an elective course. And this is a smaller group of people, generally around 20, 22 people in your elective course. Your morning course starts at 9:30, your afternoon course starts at 2. Everybody goes to lunch together. This is probably an important part to stop and say, our plans and the university is working very, very hard for us to be in person in the fall. And that is our expectation. And that's the language that I'm using is going to be in the context of us being in person in the fall. If we have time, I'm happy to unpack maybe further options or what we've been doing for the last year, but we are hoping, fingers crossed and everything else that you can cross, to be back in person this fall. So that's where we are there. So that's the structure of the custom program. A quick note for any international students that might be on or prospects that might be visiting. International students will participate in this, and then also to make it a full-time program for you and make you eligible for student visas, will have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. All right. The hybrid program, so hybrid for us is talking about a hybrid of in-person and online learning, is also 12 months long. Start in September, graduate in August, 4 academic quarters. The hybrid program is delivered through a series of 5 and 1 week course sessions online, with 4 what we call in-residence sessions. And these in-residence sessions are spread throughout the year. Each of them is 3 to 4 days long, and they are in person. So that's the hybrid part, right? You're online and in person. The in-residence sessions are, September when the program starts, December, April, and then August at graduation. The rest of the time you're taking classes online, and you're taking 1 course at a time. And like it says here, they're delivered in 5 and 1 week sessions. All right. If I didn't mention already, if at any time I'm moving too fast or you have any questions about anything that I just said, please feel free to either raise your hand or unmute yourself and talk. It's a small enough group that we can just kind of communicate in any way that's comfortable for you. Next is the curriculum. So I want to unpack this a little bit for the 2 different programs as well. But before diving into the specific courses, I want to talk a little bit about the overarching curricular themes that you can expect to encounter as a student in the MSc. Here you see the managing complexity, collaborative leadership, and elegant communication. What does that mean? I think that these themes are more easily understood if you think to yourself about times in your life or career when these have been missing, right? Again, filling a gap like the Wall Street Journal research was talking. We've all experienced times in our careers where we have seen complex issues managed poorly, right? We've all experienced times in our lives and careers where we have seen a person or people lead in a non-collaborative fashion. And we have certainly experienced people communicating inelegantly. And so these are the core curricular themes that we address as a program, and are going to hopefully expose you to more ways to decrease the gaps that are existing that we're all so familiar with. How do we do that? It's through delivering 2 types of knowledge. We talk about conceptual knowledge and applied knowledge. Conceptual knowledge is the knowledge that exists in the theories, in the faculty expertise. Here, you're going to take a change management course where Professor Mike Roloff is going to walk you through 150 years of change management theory. The role of the MSc program is to, if you go to Amazon, you can find 1 million books on leadership. It's our job to curate that. We're choosing and delivering the concepts and theories that we believe are most accurate, most practical, most useful. And so the conceptual knowledge exists there. The applied knowledge exists in you and your classmates' expertise from your experiences out in the real world. And so it's critical to us and to you, I would imagine, that all of the information, or the vast majority of it anyway, is useful, right? Is information, is knowledge, are skills that you're going to be able to actually apply out in the real world. And so we deliver these concepts that we believe are both timeless and timely, right? Information that you can use, knowledge that you can use, skills that you can use on Monday, but also knowledge, information, skills that you can use 15, 20 years from now, because it doesn't change. These are some universal truths that we're trying to deliver to you. So this combination of this conceptual and applied knowledge results in what we call produced knowledge. You and your cohort are going to create a unique set of knowledge and skills and information to yourselves that you're going to be able to then take out into the world that nobody else has, or understands in the way that you do. This is delivered in the CLP program through these 4 core courses. So again, 1 each quarter. This is your morning class in the on Saturdays. You can see them here: leading collaboration, change management, understanding and leveraging networks, communication management, and ethics. They're fairly self-explanatory. I'm not going to go into deep descriptions of each of these courses. We have descriptions of them on our website, which I certainly encourage you to explore. But these are courses out of a long list of options and a really tremendous collection of faculty courses that we have chosen that we believe most consistently and best represent the core curricular themes, and our classes that everybody in the custom program is going to take. Again, the name of the custom program comes from this opportunity for you to customize your experience, for you to shape some of your own learning. You're going to be able to choose from 3 or 4 elective courses each quarter. Here's a list of some of the elective courses that have been offered most recently. This list doesn't change dramatically from year to year. It does change a little bit based on a number of things, not the least of which is faculty availability and applicability and consistent connection to the core curricular themes. But you can see some from the list here how some of these are a little bit more detailed and might be a little bit more specific and useful to you wherever you are. Students choose elective courses for a lot of different reasons. Some people choose to take an elective course because it's something that they're already a little bit familiar with and just want to take a deeper dive. Others choose them because it's something they know absolutely nothing about and feel like they have a gap to fill in a particular discipline. And then yet others take elective courses because all of their friends are taking that course. And so there are a million different reasons to kind of consider how to shape your own experience. But this is what we mean by custom in the custom program, is the chance for you to kind of curate your own coursework. All right. Switching to the hybrid program. The hybrid program, like I said, is delivered in a series of 5-week courses, and they are preset and predetermined. So these are the courses that you will take in the hybrid program. They are presented in a specific order, and the order is designed so that they kind of build upon each other. And this coursework is designed, and the hybrid program in particular is designed for more experienced professionals. The average, we'll get to this demographic data in a minute, I believe, but the average age of students in the hybrid program hovers around 40, while the average age of students in the custom program hovers around 28. And so the students in the hybrid program are regularly asked to draw upon leadership or management experience maybe that they have had in their careers. And these courses reflect that. And then in conjunction with the courses you have, as I mentioned before, the in-residence sessions. Each of these sessions is listed here. So we start the program in September with this deep dive into cultural intelligence. And this sort of sets a frame for you as you move through the program, as we explore issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and use that lens to view a significant portion of the coursework that you take as you move through the program. And that is in person. And then you go away for a couple months and come back in December for crisis communication, go away, come back in April for leading collaboration negotiations, go away, come back in August for executive presence and graduation. So that's kind of the structure of the hybrid program. Part of both of the programs will be a capstone project. And the capstone project is poorly named. It makes it sound like it's one thing, but it's actually three things. And the first piece, the kind of meat and potatoes, if you will, of the capstone project is the creation of this visual portfolio, this online, this website of your experience in the program. And the visual portfolio is a series of it's an annotated bibliography. So what that means is every time there is a reading or case or project or paper or something that you encounter or do in the program that resonates with you, that kind of speaks to you or you feel is important or necessary, you add it to this portfolio and you write a little bit, write a few paragraphs saying, this is why I like this is why I hate this is why this is interesting to me. And we call it an artifact. And then by the time you graduate, you're required to have a minimum of 50 artifacts in your portfolio. The hope and expectation is that this is kind of a living thing for you, right? And so if in the first quarter while you're studying team dynamics, you enter a few artifacts, and then in the second quarter, you're studying change management, you are looking at these artifacts from the first quarter through a different lens, seeing them a different way, and then you can start to recognize how your own understanding of these concepts evolves as you move through the program, right? And then that in turn helps you retain them even more and gives you a stronger ability to apply them in the future. And so this visual portfolio is a significant piece of the capstone project. The second piece, applied learning. You have two different options, a choice to make here. And as far as the applied learning piece, you can either do a case interview. A case interview, maybe somebody's done a case interview. If you've ever applied to work at a consulting firm, you've more than likely encountered this. The way that we do it is that at the end of the first, second, or third quarter, you will choose a date and time near the end of the quarter. And 24 hours before that date and time, we email you a case. And you have 24 hours then to solve for that case. Put together a 10-minute presentation, 15-minute presentation, and then you deliver it that next day to a panel of faculty, alumni, and staff. And the purpose of this is it's a high pressure kind of 24 hours, but you can't relearn an entire quarter's worth of information in 24 hours. And so it's an evaluation of what have you taken in, what have you retained, what can you apply? And so you can kind of understand the reasoning for this type of exercise. So you can either do that kind of quick and dirty 24 hours and you're done with the applied learning section, or for the somewhat more ambitious folks, you can do an applied research project. The applied research project is probably exactly what you're thinking it is. It's kind of this year-long exploration and deep dive into honestly any kind of subject or topic of your choice. And you will work one-on-one with a faculty member in trying to understand more deeply something that you're fascinated by. It's intentionally ambiguous because we want it to be useful for you. Some examples in the past, we have had students do some really impressive market research for their companies, creation of training and development programs for the organizations that they're a part of, deep dives into understanding behaviors in particular industries. So it's a really wide range of options in terms of what it is that you want to research. And then again, partnering with a professor to assist with proper methods and direction and keeping up with timelines and deadlines and things like that. So the applied learning piece, this middle section, is an option for you in terms of which way to go. The third piece of the capstone project is this development and creation of your professional identity. What does that mean? We want to be sure that as you leave the MSc program, you are an expert in you. You are able to deliver a highly polished, easily understandable explanation of the value that you add to whatever organization you're a part of. And we do this through a number of different exercises and activities. Pat actually manages a significant portion of this, helping everybody understand and create a value proposition for yourself. Pat, can you explain the value proposition, what that means?
Sure. A value proposition really explains to someone, maybe a new employer or your current employer, the value of why you are there. And it's an interesting exercise to really look deep inside you to understand what you have to offer in a professional setting. And some of those things change while you're in the program. So what we start out with sometimes at our first meeting often is very different than what we end up towards graduation. And that comes through a lot of self-discovery and through your classes as well. But there's a certain exercise that I use in our coaching sessions to get that information out of you and to put it into a succinct, maybe the first time is just a paragraph that goes at the top of your resume, or something longer that can go on your e-portfolio or your website.
Terrific. Thank you, Pat.
Sure.
A quick question in from Nikki asks about what the approval process looks like for applied research projects and how professors are matched with proposals for applied research. So we have kind of a bench of staff and faculty who are generally matched with these projects. And so a faculty director and then a curriculum director and our student services coordinator who has just recently earned her PhD. And I have advised on some that have to do with marketing. And so the approval process will largely run through the program director. So that's Anne-Marie Adams with the custom students and Amy Hounstein with the hybrid students to understand what makes the best fit, what makes the most sense for a project. So it's just through a series of one-on-one conversations with staff and faculty for us to understand and make sure that you have access to the appropriate data and information that you need to do the research project, and then matching with the best faculty that are available. Sure. What else? Other questions about the curriculum before we move into the next section? Any questions about what you learn, how you learn it, anything like that? I always like to wait for 10 more seconds than is actually comfortable for everyone before moving on. Okay. Faculty, so now you've learned a little bit more about what you're going to learn, who's going to be delivering this to you. Here's a short list of some of the awards and accolades that the faculty have received over the years. I'll let you read that real quick. It's Northwestern University. You understand what that means. There's a expectation of excellence and accomplishment that is going to come with the people that are delivering this knowledge to you. And that is certainly not, the MSc is no exception to that. The faculty are all leaders in their respective disciplines. And I think the MSc does a great job of two different things. First of all, the faculty are a mix of academic researchers and industry experts, right? And so we've got people that are leaders again in their discipline and their research, but also, you know, the CEO and president of a content marketing company teaches in the program. The vice president for communications for the university, former Tribune reporter teaches in the program. A consultant, a global management consultant teaches a course called Managing Global Teams. And so it's a strong mix of, again, going back to that applied and conceptual knowledge. And I think that that's important for a lot of different reasons. The second thing that I think is important to recognize is that oftentimes when you kind of encounter an incredibly accomplished and recognized researcher, faculty person, they can be a little bit distant. And so what I think the MSc program does a great job of, and the faculty in particular, is being accessible, is that these are people that you're going to get home phone numbers and you're going to go out for drinks and these are people that are going to become part of your personal network long after your courses end with them. A quick story. So like I said, I graduated in 2012. Shortly after I graduated, I was working at the University of Chicago at the time. I got a promotion in my company where I was going to be managing people who had previously been peers, right? So it's this kind of awkward transition from we're all on the same team and now I'm your boss. And I reached out, I sent an email to Mike Roloff, who taught the change management course, because I had remembered talking around this topic, and I sent him an email. I easily hadn't talked to him in 9 or 10 months. Said, I don't know if you remember me. This is what's going on in my world. Any advice, anything that you would recommend that I read or brush up on before I take on this new role? And within 24 hours, I get this 3-page email back from Mike with readings and things to discover and his own personal advice and his phone number. And then he was a partner for me through this kind of transition. And that was worth the price of admission right there, right? Those few months of transition in that kind of awkward career change for me, and to have a partner and a guide and a mentor through that from the faculty. And he didn't have to do that. It was certainly not within his job description to assist me in a career move. But it's just one of many, many examples that you'll hear from current students and alumni of faculty offering services above and beyond what they're delivering in the classroom. So I think that's a special thing. What else? This segues nice into the community section of the program. I think that there's a lot of times in the research of kind of where should I go to school, you're checking a lot of boxes, and location, cost, time, curriculum, etc. I like to spend a little bit talking about the people that you'll be going through the program with, people that you'll be taking classes with. Here's some of the demographics. It tells a little bit of the story, right? So the custom program, you can see the ages and the averages and the ranges. I like these bottom 2 rows in particular, industries represented and job functions represented. Sometimes I talk to students about, or applicants about their expectations in terms of who they're taking classes with, and they assume that the program is full of PR professionals, advertising people, marketing people. And absolutely, we have a lot of PR people and marketing people and advertising people. But we have a lot of finance people and people from healthcare and manufacturing and consumer packaged goods and big tech and everything else that you might imagine. I hope it's been made clear up to this point that the content that we deliver, that the skills that we help you develop are not specific to any particular industry and are not specific to any particular job function. And this is by design. Here we go. Most common industries represented: finance, healthcare, then marketing, nonprofit, media in the program. And what this means is that you have an opportunity to learn how other people from other places that you wouldn't necessarily get a chance to interact with are approaching a lot of these important subjects. And so sitting in a classroom, I'm trying to think again from my own personal experience. I worked in higher education. One of my best friends was an entrepreneur who ran a tourism company. I had a Catholic priest in my class. We had a lawyer. It all sounded like the start of a bad joke, a doctor and a lawyer and a teacher walk into a classroom. But just that diversity of experience really made all of our time in the program that much more rich. Student services, excuse me. These are, I call them the fringe benefits. These are all the extra things, right? And so absolutely, you're going to have a terrific time and gain a lot as you go through just the class time in the program. But there's a lot more to the MSc than sitting in class on Saturdays. Academic advising, you're going to have a chance to sit down one-on-one, basically as often as you like, with an academic advisor to talk about choices of electives, how some of the curriculum lines up together and connects with itself. And so you have a partner as you go through for the academic portion of the program. Social events. We host a number of social events throughout the program, and have even had some successful ones virtually over the past year. But it's a big piece of creating that network that is going to be part of you for long after you go into the program is some of the social pieces. So we have big ones in the winter and in the spring. We have kind of a post-spring break gathering for everybody every year. And then we have a big holiday party in December. We had, I think, 200 or 250 people gathered back in the December of 2019, which sounds ludicrous right now, right? To get 250 people together. But these social events are important opportunities for people to kind of let their hair down and get to know each other a little bit differently. Cultural intelligence series. This is part of the program as well. I mentioned how the hybrid program starts by helping everybody understand more deeply some of the issues of diversity, equity, inclusion. And this is a series that is optional, that is presented to students in the custom program as well throughout the year. And then another piece is a design curriculum where we have two professional graphic designers who teach what is best described as sort of a certificate course that's throughout the program, right? If you aren't familiar with Photoshop, Adobe tools, those types of things, we aren't going to give you an entire 10-week class to understand these things, but we have a chance for you to become more familiar with these tools if it's not something that you already know a little bit about. An evening with and food for thought are the speaker series that we offer. Some of this content is delivered at lunchtime on Saturdays. Some of it is delivered during the week. But it's a series of things like alumni panels and panels from of people from different areas of expertise that might be coming up during some of the through some of the content in the quarter that you're particularly in. And then company treks, something again that we haven't done for a year, that Pat leads students who are interested out to organizations in and around Chicago to become familiar with very specific places and in different industries. And that leads us into the next section, which is career services, which, since Pat's here, I wanted to ask her to just tell us a little bit more about kind of your job. What's a week in the life of Pat Messina as you manage the career services for the MSc students?
Well, my week is generally pretty busy, and I fill it up mostly with one-on-one coaching sessions with current students in HLP or CLP groups, either one. And I like to touch base with everybody at least once a quarter, but I really prefer to get a great relationship going and meet with you as often as possible. And like Toby kind of said before, we're really accessible all the time. I realize many of you are working during the week, so I often meet in the evenings, at lunchtime, on the weekends, Sunday morning. I work around your schedule, so don't think it has to be during the day. And the more I get to know you, whether you guys listed that you want to transition maybe to a new career, that you're looking for a promotion within your current company, I can help you with those things. And we do that through researching industries, job titles, other positions available, and actually networking very heavily with other MSc grads and other Northwestern grads as well. I post, usually each class will have a Facebook page, and whenever I get good positions available, I post those there so that you have a jump on applying to things. And the one beautiful thing about Northwestern is that Northwestern grads love to help other Northwestern grads. It's really a tight-knit community. So when they send me a job description or an opening, they want to fill it with somebody from Northwestern. So it opens a lot of doors. The rest of my time, I do bring in some speakers that can help you with also those goals that you have. Back before COVID, we did do some journeys out to local companies, and we've actually done some of that online, again, through networking and just hooking you up with people that work. Maybe you want to go to, maybe you're checking out consulting or healthcare. And so we'll get the two of you together and you can take it from there. So that's pretty much what I do.
The important thing, I don't know, it's worth noting that we're one of, if not the only communication program that I'm aware of in the United States that offers this level of career services. Even when I was a student back in 2012, we didn't have anything like this. We had kind of an outside person that would maybe help us with a resume from time to time. But this, the chance to not only sit down with Pat and talk about, the resume stuff, but also for the rest of your life when you're making a career transition, or if you're vying for a promotion at work, or if you want to have a conversation about salary negotiation. We're here to assist with those conversations. Every single staff meeting we have, Pat gets to tell us weekly stories about the most recent person that's got a new job or found a new opportunity or is doing a new thing. And it's just really fun to listen to the stories of people, recent grads and longtime alums alike, telling stories of reconnecting with the program to help take that next step in their career. Now that you all know that you want to come, how do you get in? Now's the admissions piece. So I'm going to move through this fairly quickly so that we have some time for questions here. What are the required materials in the program? The admissions process is highly transparent. We have no secrets to kind of what we're looking for and how we do things. Here are the things that we need. We're going to ask you for a resume. We're going to have you write an essay. The essay question is basically, why do you want to come here and what do you hope to contribute? We ask for 2 recommendations. The way the recommendations section of the application works is that as soon as you kind of plug in the names of those people in your application, that automatically generates an email out to those people where we ask them to rank you on a set of competencies and answer a couple of short answer questions that we've put together so that they don't have to, come up with a letter from scratch or try to guess what it is that we want to hear. We try to make it as easy as possible for those people because we know that they're very busy. We ask for academic transcripts from any place that has awarded you a degree. We can use unofficial transcripts for admissions purposes, but we'll need official transcripts before you can start the program. So if you have even screenshots or scanned copies of your transcripts, we can use those for the admission side. But like I said, we need official stuff from your college or university before you start. We'll conduct an interview. You'll have an interview with a member of the admissions committee, and that will be, virtually here through Zoom. After you've submitted all of those materials, then we invite you to interview. So you don't interview until we have all of your materials. And then last but not least, we do not use standardized testing as a evaluative tool for the application. So we don't require a GRE or GMAT score for you to apply to the program. What are we doing with all those materials? What are we looking for? When reading applications, the admissions committee is kind of asking these 3 questions at all times, right? And the first question is, can you do the work? We're going to use your academic history, professional history to help us gauge your ability to manage the academic rigor of the program, right? And so we want to be sure that we're setting people up for success in the MSc program from an academic perspective. The second, how are your goals consistent with our program? That means, can you draw a straight line between what we deliver, what you think our program is, and what you want to do next professionally? What are your goals? Why are you here? So if you write your essays about how you want to be an astronaut, that's probably not us, right? Like, so what's that direct line between who we are and what you want? And then last, and I think most importantly, is how are you going to add value to your classmates' experience? That's the essay question, basically. What are you going to bring? The hope is that you show up to class on that first day and you walk in the room and you recognize that all of these new people in your world are going to be able to share something unique with you, whether it's part of their expertise or experience or personality or life in general. You're going to be able to learn something from everybody. I want to know, we want to know what's going to be missing if you're not part of the program. What are you going to bring? And that's exciting for a lot of reasons. I think hopefully it's exciting for you to understand that if we're doing our job well, we're putting together a really unique, diverse group of people for you to learn together with. And I think that's an exciting opportunity. Finally, I want to speak last about alumni and what that means. You're going to be an alumni for a lot longer than you're going to be a student. And so as you leave the program for years after, at other points in your career, you're going to be facing the same questions that you have right now and the same considerations that you're making for coming to the program. You are going to experience other opportunities for career change, advancement, and desire more chances and to explore personal growth. And so that's why we are going to continue to offer opportunities for you to engage with the MSC program and Northwestern as a whole to continue your kind of journey of lifelong learning. The MSC Alumni Association there is a very, very active group of people. We have just under 2,000 alumni of the MSC program, and they have a lot of programming as well. Quarterly programming with webinars and speakers. They manage a they manage a mentee-mentor program as well, connecting alumni with each other as well as with current students. And this network is something that's really special. As Pat was saying earlier, Northwestern people like to hire Northwestern people. 220,000 alumni spread all over the world is not an insignificant number. And I think it comes with even a little more prestige when you understand that these are 220,000 people that have accomplished something that's kind of difficult, right? Done something hard. And you have that shared connection with these people. So when you reach out for whatever reason, your call is going to be answered. And you in turn are going to answer other people's call as a result. And so the alumni network is something that's very important and critical to the success of our program in general. What else? What have we not talked about? What questions do you have that I haven't covered yet? I'll give you guys a second to type in anything that you like. And I see that there are a couple questions already waiting for me. I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Jada asks, is the applied research similar to doing a thesis? If not, are there thesis options? Forgive me if this was already discussed. It is and it isn't. A thesis project is the applied research project is probably not similar to doing a traditional thesis, in that we're not going to force you to take a research methods course and take deep dives into 30 different research designs to understanding the best way to approach a topic that might or might not be interesting to anybody else. And so this is going to be a very specific, individual, hopefully practical / applied project that you're going to be able to actually use someplace. And not to infer that thesis projects aren't actually used anywhere, but it's an important piece of this project is that we want it to be something practical and useful for you. Gretchen asks about how do we recommend people decide between the two tracks, the hybrid and the custom tracks? It's certainly personal preference, right? And so if the big differences we understand are delivery format being largely in person versus largely online, do you have a preference there? Class size being 70 versus 25, do you have a preference there? Is the more experienced peer group more attractive to you than having a more broad experience group of students? Do you have a preference there? Those are the three biggest kind of choices for a person to make in deciding between the two tracks. And this goes for anybody that's interested. If you have questions or would like to continue this conversation with a current student or alumni of the custom or hybrid programs to talk to them about their experiences, we're certainly more than happy to set up those, to make those connections. But I think that deciding what format and deciding what group of people you want to go through the program with your preferences there are the biggest decisions for you to make. Caleb asks about housing options. We have, yes, there is graduate student housing available. I am going to be honest, I don't know a ton about it. The best I would probably be able to do is send you a link to the housing options that are available through the university. That said, there's no shortage of apartments available in and near Evanston, and the city of Chicago is a pretty cool place to live in a lot of different ways for people to explore there. But let me see if we can't track down. Maybe Kaylee could help me out with finding a link to the graduate student housing and put that in the chat here before we wrap up. Eve asks about admission deadlines and costs. I'm going to click out of here and stop sharing my screen. We have an application deadline coming up shortly. Let me be sure I'm giving the exact right dates here. Our next application deadline is, I want to say April 15th, but let me confirm that one moment. April 12th, sorry. Our next deadline is April 12th, and our final deadline for admission is June 14th. So still plenty of time for people to put their application materials together. As far as costs, the entire cost of the program for domestic students is $55,908. We bill you quarterly, and so it's not divided exactly quarterly, but pretty close. So it's just over $6,000 per course. Students are funding the program through a number of different ways. And so we do not have fellowships, assistantships, or scholarships available in the MSC program. Students are largely using either student loans or some company-sponsored assistance to pay for the program. If anybody is interested in trying to lobby your organization for financial support, I am happy to have that conversation. We've had some success in the past putting cases together to help people, like I said, lobby for support from their companies in that way. Thank you, Kaylee, for putting the housing information in. Zayu asked about the international students courses on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so in the first quarter of the program, you're going to have two classes, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday, that are, the descriptions of them are online, but largely they're preparing you for your experience in the second quarter. And so let me start kind of backwards. In the second quarter of the program, international students, because you're full-time students and kind of not allowed to have jobs or internships yet as you're here on student visas. So in the second quarter, we have outside companies come to us with communication problems that they're trying to solve. And you and a small group of your classmates will act as consultants to these outside companies. And so that's what happens in the second quarter. The classes that you take in the first quarter are largely training you for that experience, right? And so helping you understand a little bit more about business communication, professional business communication acumen, some research methods, survey design, those types of things to help be sure that you are prepared and have the skills necessary to be successful in the consulting experience that you'll have in the second quarter. Wonderful. We're coming up on time, and so I I wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining today. It's been, it was good getting to know a little bit of your motivations early in the presentation here. I'm excited that you're all considering the program. So hopefully next steps will be to continue working or start working on your applications for the program that starts in September. The last thing I would mention is that, you know, I understand that as an alum of the program, it's a really special place for me. And a professor that I have become friends with over the years said that the people that attend programs like these seek to have a disproportionate impact. And we've all been parts of teams in the past where maybe it feels like everybody's pulling different weights and aren't necessarily contributing equal levels. And it's ambitious people that come to programs like this, and people that are used to giving a little bit more and doing a little bit more than is expected of them. And if you've ever had a chance to sit in a room full of people that are like that, that are excited to do more and excited to pull their weight and excited to have interesting contributions recognized, then you know that it can be kind of an electric experience. And if that sounds attractive to you, then by all means, the MSC is the place for you. So we would love to have you. And with that, like I said, I'm grateful for you taking the time today. Please feel free to visit us on any of our social channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We also have a series of webinars that are available for viewing on YouTube in short 15 and 30-minute sections usually, where we have some deeper dives into career services, the admissions process, but also some really terrific presentations from faculty on some of the research that they've been working on, if you want a little bit more of a taste. So very much looking forward to continuing the conversation with anybody as you wish. So thank you again, everybody, for joining today, and I will let you get back to your day. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.